Hello to my Scorpio Sun, Moon, Rising, or major Scorpio placements, those that are watching this video. So this is the yearly reading, the 2023 reading for Scorpios. So what we're going to do today is we're going to get a card from the Archetypes deck first. This will be our major theme, our overall picture, the big picture item, the big ticket thing that we're looking at for the year of 2023 for Scorpio here, and what that overall theme is. And then we're gonna get a card from the Alchemy deck here, and this will be how the energy is changing or progressing for you through the year, Scorpio, or energy like you're coming into or that you're getting out of as the year is progressing, maybe as the year starts or as the year ends. It varies a little bit sign to sign so far, and sometimes it ties in really heavily with the Archetypes card, or sometimes they are completely almost completely separate, like in tandem, like parallel but not like together. And other times they completely cross over. So it's always very interesting to see how it pans out. But after we get our two major theme cards for the top of your reading here, Scorpio, we're going to get 4 cards from the Wild Unknown Tarot. So one for each quarter of the year. So January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. So one for each quarter there. These are like the major things that are happening, or major, more minor themes going on under the bigger theme. And we're going to get a clarification card for each quarter from the Animal Spirit deck here. So this is sometimes advice, or sometimes just clarifying the energy, or just helping give more perspective potentially. So it varies again, deck to deck, purpose to purpose, sign to sign. So let us get started now. Let's get our Archetypes card first to start off your reading, Scorpio. So I took a little bit of a break from doing these. I did a bunch in a row, so now I've got about 5 more left, you included. So Archetypes deck for Scorpio for 2023, please. Sun, Moon, Rising, major Scorpio placements. Those watching, what is the energy, the theme for Scorpio for 2023? Thank you. That was quite fast. Okay, that is the Sustainer. There you go. Sustainer. Okay. Interesting energy. I think that came out for a sign last year, if I remember correctly. I actually did not. I meant to at some point. So maybe I'll try and maybe I was smart enough and did it, have it posted down in the description for you below, Scorpio, but the energy of last year, just so you can kind of see the progression of the energy as well, and have you go back maybe if you're interested and see how the year progressed for you, if that energy for last year matched up for you, and then how this energy might match up for you this year now. So now next, Alchemy. So Alchemy for Scorpio for 2023. Sun, Moon, Rising, major Scorpio placements. Those watching, how is their energy changing and progressing through 2023? How is their energy changing, transforming, progressing? We want that one? Yeah, I think we do. That is spring. Spring energy for you, Scorpio. So we got the Sustainer, which honestly kind of ties in, it feels like, off the bat with the spring card here. We definitely get a little bit of that purple and blue color match right here, from here into here. Just Kim Krans style in general, of course, but also I like pointing out the common symbolism and colors on the cards, because it tends to tie into each other here. So here's your major cards. Here's a good close-up look at the spring card here for you, Scorpio. So spring can be an important season for you for this coming year. Important season, important things happening. We'll see in the spread here. So this would probably be second quarter energy. So what, January, February, March. It's usually what, April, May. Hold on. December is when the one equinox, the solstice, then 3. Yeah, I think it's in March. Yeah, so it should be March where the spring equinox happens, at least for the northern hemisphere. So, and then we got the Sustainer. So let us get a little bit closer look at this energy now for you, Scorpio, and see how this energy pans out or looks in the bigger picture for your year of 2023. For your reading in particular here, Scorpio, the spring card and the Sustainer actually go quite well together here. So the Sustainer energy, it is the energy of what it sounds like on the tin here, right? It's sustaining, making sure everything is in place and moving forward and progressing and keeping up with it, right? So the way it talks about it in the book, right? Somebody in a Sustainer energy, the one that's paying the bills, making sure people are getting fed, making sure the house is clean, sustaining life, right? Sustaining keeping everything in working order so that life can keep progressing and moving forward and changing as it needs to. It's not causing the changes necessarily. It's not being the ones to force the change or begin the things, but once the things have begun, then it's sustaining it through, right? It's making sure that the grass is watered. It's making sure that the filter on the water heat, and the filter's getting changed for the house, right? I don't know why that popped into my mind randomly, but it's making sure the cars get their oil changes, those things that just make sure everything keeps in working order here. And how this ties in with the spring card is the energy of spring, right? And when I think about trying to make our gardens and that they're blooming in spring, there is lots of that goes into sustaining that energy, giving it the opportunity to bloom and bud. So there's lots of work we do around all this time. We prep the ground in order for things to get planted. So we have to maintain the ground. We have to maintain water, like a watering schedule, in order to make sure that these things in spring can bloom and grow. And once they're in the process of blooming and everything, starting that energy process, that energy of new and growth and that innocence and blooming and those new little bulbs, right, that are very vulnerable, but bloom into those beautiful flowers. And even coming into that spring energy, we're not quite at the summer harvest, bigger energy where things are in full bloom. It's just that beginning energy, but there is an energy needed to sustain it through that process, right? There's energy needed to keep things in a fertile environment so they do keep growing, right? And that's what we're really looking at with the spring energy here and the sustainer. These two really, really tie into each other, right? The energy is changing and progressing in your life in 2023 Scorpio, where new things are coming about, right? You have new experiences. Maybe you've moved, you have a new job, you're switching, you graduated high school, right? And you're becoming an adult. So there's these new things on the horizon with your life that have been put in place. All the things have been put in motion for it already, right? So it's okay, you already applied to that college, so you already got accepted. So now we're working on the part to finally move into the dorms and get our classes sorted and everything, right? So there are things around this energy that need to be sustained. There's making sure that we're fed properly, that we're taking care of our mental health, we're taking care of our physical health, we're communicating with our friends and family, keeping up those familiar relationships, our friendships. A relationship, if you have it, putting in the time and effort to make sure everything in your life is sustainable. And think about the word sustainable. That's going to be a good thing to pay attention to for you, Scorpio, through your year here, is how to make sure everything in your life is sustainable in the long run. Everything that you want to be around for long term, and build a foundation off of, or build the foundation for, you need to make sure it's sustainable, right? So the practices your education we keep with the college theme, right? Making sure your study practices are sustainable, right? Where you're not binging, studying, and cramming everything and pulling all-nighters, right? You're studying consistently, but more so. You're studying consistently and giving yourself the proper breaks you need and giving yourself the proper rest, so that way you can actually maintain a good study schedule, sustain a good study schedule. So that's the energy here, right? Where it's okay, and this can apply to any situation in our life, right? We're trying to prevent burnout. We're trying to keep ourselves in good health, in good fortune, in a good mental space, a good emotional space. So all these new things can bloom for us and be in a prime environment to bloom and develop to their full potential, come into full bloom, right? Things that the plants that don't have enough water, they might bloom in spring, right? But they don't get as big as maybe they otherwise would have if they didn't have the proper nutrients, the correct amount of water, the fertilizer, the right amount of sunlight. So the sustainer here is really making sure that this spring energy can reach its full potential in the long run, okay? So let's see how this breaks down for you in your year specifically here, Scorpio. So let us get our 4 cards now, one for each quarter. So, okay, Wild Unknown Tarot, please give me the first quarter energy for 2023 for Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising, major Scorpio placements. Mouthful, I know, but major first quarter energy for Scorpio for 2023, please. Thank you. That's 2. Do you want... I want the top one today. That's weird. Usually it's the bottom one. Okay, that's the Daughter of Swords in the reverse. Okay, thank you. Didn't even ask on that one. That is the 9 of Cups. Third quarter energy, please, for 2023 for Scorpio. Third quarter energy, please. Thank you. How do you want the sun? Boop. Okay. That is in the upright. Okay, final card then. What is the fourth quarter energy for Scorpio for 2023? Oh, almost. Okay, no, it actually wants that one. When it does that to me, it's usually Judgment. Judgment in the reverse. Yeah, when it starts popping out and I'm like, keep shuffling and it just keeps inching its way out, I'm like, okay, guess you want that one specifically. Okay. So first quarter energy, Daughter of Swords in the reverse. Second quarter is the Nine of Cups upright. Third quarter is the Sun upright, and then reverse Judgment for our fourth quarter here, Scorpio. Okay, let us get our clarifying energy with our Animal Spirit deck now. Okay, Animal Spirit deck for Scorpios for 2023, please. First quarter energy, please give me more information or clarification or advice about the Daughter of Swords in the reverse. More information. What's important for the Daughter of Swords in the reverse? Thank you. The Stingray. Okay. I like our spots of color, right? Our rainbow there and there. Okay, what's important, please, about the Nine of Cups? Way too many cards. Okay. Nine of Cups, please. Why do you... Okay. Do we want that one? Yeah, okay. Camel. Okay. Sun in the upright, please. More information about the sun for the third quarter for Scorpio. More information about the sun, please. Nope, 2 cards. 1 card, please. More information about the sun, please. Okay, thank you. Fish, butterfly, yeah. That tracks. Okay, and then clarification or more information about reverse judgment, please. Thank you. The lion. Okay, let me point you down a bit more here, Scorpio. There we go. Okay, so our first quarter energy for you, Scorpio, is the Daughter of Swords in the reverse, clarified by Stingray. Then we have the Nine of Cups upright, clarified by Camel. The Sun upright, clarified by Butterfly. And then finally, Judgment in the reverse, clarified by the Lion, with the Sustainer and Spring out. Okay, so let's get a little bit deeper look here. Let's start diving into our quarters now. First quarter for you here, Scorpio. In your first quarter here, Scorpio, right? So we have the Daughter of Swords, or the Page of Swords, as it's also known, clarified by the Stingray. And we're really talking about trusting ourselves now in the first quarter here of 2023. We're coming in on this energy January, February, March. And the Daughter of Swords has that keen eye, has that ability to perceive things in a very calculated, discerning manner, seeing things that maybe other people usually don't. But with it coming in the reverse here, we don't have a ton of trust in our mind and our capacities right now. We don't believe completely that we have the capacity to do things. Stingray has this as well, where it's the working through what makes us uncomfortable, what we're scared about, fighting to be out of that comfort zone that we've usually had, and changing up things and trusting ourselves, right? So what this feels like is that we didn't have, in terms of our theme energy, right? We haven't been sustaining ourselves in the right way. We haven't been taking care maybe of our mental health in the ways we need to completely, or giving ourselves the resources we need in order to trust ourselves and trust our intuition. Know that we are making the right decision, because there are influencers here potentially from outside sources, right? Other family members, maybe friends, other people that you maybe feel like you're questioning, like your judgment's getting questioned, right? So you don't trust your judgment as much, but maybe potentially here with the Daughter of Swords in the reverse. And the stingray kind of reflects that energy as well, that uncomfortableness where it's like, okay, nope, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what's going on either. And we're trying to really work on this thing, right? We're trying to really work through this process here where we do trust ourselves, working through this fear, really connecting to ourselves at a deeper level here, right? We see the stingray having all this rainbow here, almost like the chakras moving through the stingray here. I almost said scorpion. But we're trying to solidify, right? We're trying to get this all together, right? Because we do see this the same rainbow, all these different dots here on the Daughter of Swords all spread out around it, right? Versus if we're working through the scorpion energy in that positive way, in that positive mind, then it all consolidates together. All of our energy comes together and inside of ourselves. And that's where that trust is. That's where that intuition is, knowing who we are and being able to sustain ourselves in a better manner, right? We have all this new, fresh spring energy coming into our life here in 2023. And we see it reflected as we kind of get into that period of time, at least in the Northern Hemisphere, based on the timing of the reading here. But we're trying to make sure that all these pieces are in place. How it's broken down for other zodiac signs is like, okay, here's the lessons we're learning kind of each quarter almost, right? So here, in order to make sure that these things that we're blooming with spring energy, the new things we're doing, the new situations we're in, right? We do have to trust ourselves. The things are already in place. We've already put these seeds down. We've already planted these seeds now, and they're coming into bloom here with spring. They're starting to sprout, they're starting to grow, and then there's those bulbs on those flowers are popping up here, and those flowers are going to be here any minute at this point, right? So we have to trust that we made the right decision, trust that we do have that discerning eye, trust that we know what we're doing, that we put in the time and effort to find the right thing for us at the right time, and doing the right thing at the right time with the information we had. Of course, we can always pivot and change and use our free will to change up the situation if we come into more information that we didn't have before, and then we can make a better decision then at that point. But you have to sustain your mental energy and sustain your emotional energy by trusting yourself and giving yourself the resources to trust yourself, because you've already done the work here at this point, right? We come into spring and look how beautiful this spring card is, right? Look how much color there is here, how many things are ready to bloom and come into that full energy with spring energy. So you have to, the lesson here, and at least in the first quarter here, is to really trust yourself, trust your judgment, trust what you've already done for yourself, trust what you've done, that it is going to come to fruition in the way you're hoping for. Okay, Scorpio. And moving now into the second quarter here, we do really see that energy really does come in here. We have the Nine of Cups and the Camel here. Camel really talking about resource management and it's not conservative really, but it's knowing how to maneuver in that desert environment, right? Where it's like we don't always have all the resources available to us. That camel storing the water, being in tune with their emotions, right? Scorpion again, wow. Scorpion, that makes sense. But with that stingray energy here, right? That's water energy coming in, and with a camel, which is actually fire energy here. Funny enough, but the camel's also super in tune with their emotions. They hold it inside their body. They have a storage place for it. They use their emotions, that water, when they need it in that sparing manner to get them through those tough environments and tough situations. However, for you, Scorpio, for the second quarter here, we have the Nine of Cups, which is a great card. So this is January, February, March for that first quarter, and then April, May, June, coming into the spring energy here for your second quarter. Pretty much all of spring is right here for you. If it started here about March, mid-March, like towards the end of March here is when spring happens, at least in the Northern Hemisphere, then this is second quarter is pretty much all spring energy for you. And this is a really important time for you. It's literally one of your major cards, part of your theme of the entire year. And Nine of Cups is pretty much all that emotions there for you, all the bounty, all those pieces, all that richness, all that abundance is here for you. It's showing up for you. We don't quite have the 10 here, but it's not perfect yet. It's not all the exact pieces, but you're pretty damn close at this point here with the 9 of Cups. And the Camel here for you, Scorpio, too. It's really about you know yourself completely at this point. It's like that's all those emotions stored inside, really knowing who you are, knowing your resourcefulness, knowing the capacities you have to handle the difficult situations and environments. And while there's not a difficult situation present here for you, maybe that was earlier on in the previous year, potentially, the situations you were dealing with previously, and you've been trying to sustain yourself through and getting yourself to this point now, and it's really showing up for you. All the hard work you've been putting in is showing up for you now, finally, here, Scorpio, for sure. It's like, okay, 9 of Cups here, and then once we get in the third quarter, it's the freaking Sun, and that's one of the best cards in the entire tarot. So with the Camel here, right, there's really, you know yourself. That is the energy we finally kind of solidified here with the Stingray in the previous quarter, and Camel really has that energy. It's like, okay, yep, all my emotions, I know what they are, but they're stored inside of me. I know when to access them. I know when to access them, in what situations, in what environments. I know I'm resourceful. I know I'm strong. I know I am independent and can handle whatever life throws at me, whatever situation this is. And I've worked hard to get to this 9 of Cups here. I've worked hard to have all these cups available to me that are completely full, and have this fullness available as well, right? Everything is coming into bloom now, finally. Everything is finally coming into that energy where I put in all this work. I've started filling up all these cups and filled it up from myself, right? Filled it up from my situations, my knowing, my perceiving things. This was that lesson we were learning in the previous quarter, right? The Daughter of Swords, trusting myself, trusting what I've done, because the Camel has been storing all this water inside itself for so long, right? And then it's able to finally fill up all these cups, all 9 of these cups. And then now moving into the third quarter here, we have the Sun, right? And huge transformation energy with the butterfly, right? The Sun is that joy. It is that fulfillment, pretty much, right? And this is perfect. This is summer energy, right? So this is, if this is what, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. This is pretty much the heat of summer, right? And this is the Sun. This is when the Sun is the hottest. So all this energy, this abundance, this joy is coming into play here for you, Scorpio, in the third quarter. And then especially in the butterfly, right? This is finally feels like the switch over, this big transformation, right? Where it's like, okay, you've been putting in all this work for so long. It feels like it's all been chrysalis, right? It's all been the cocoon stage for the butterfly. Where it's like, okay, putting in the work, changing things, learning, growing, putting in all this time and effort to know yourself, know who you are, know what you're about, trusting yourself, trusting your intuition, sustaining yourself in multiple ways. This is that independence again coming in from the Camel, the sustainer energy. Sustaining yourself through a long period of time. Now we're finally coming into this thriving energy here with butterfly and the Sun in the third quarter, where it's like, okay, this transformation's finally complete. This transformation process we've been going through for potentially a long time, right? Depends on the situation in the butterfly, but at least butterfly energy is usually at least about a year, from in my personal experience, sometimes longer, or we go through multiple transformation processes as well. But the Sun's a time for celebration. It's a time to celebrate the joys of life, coming into positive, beautiful energy. Sometimes this is children as well, right? The original Rider-Waite imagery shows a child on a white horse, I think. So if that applies to your specific situation, then maybe kids come into the picture at this point, or that's the thought, or we're talking about that with a partner, potentially starting a family, because finally we've worked through all this big energy here, all this big transformation energy, and we're finally that butterfly now at this point in the third quarter here. And this is really exciting to see, right? It's finally all these pieces coming into bloom, past the spring energy, all right? This is the energy past the spring energy, and into the summer where things are in full bloom, and we're like, okay, hey, we finally got here, right? We finally accomplished this thing. So then we move into our last quarter here, right? We have reverse judgment with the Lion at the end of the year here. So this is October, November, December. In your final quarter here, Scorpio, right, with judgment in reverse clarified by the Lion, it really feels like we come into a point now. I was reading like the initial reverse energy that you see with judgments, not usually on the positive, but what resonated with me once I saw the clarification with line was the introspection and the reflection, the self-reflection on the journey we've been through, right? Looking at our life, going back over things. The judgment energy is that one of reflection, is paying attention to everything that has passed and what has been. And really coming into an energy of that next great calling, that next big thing after, right? And this really feels like it's the energy for this judgment card in your fourth quarter here because of the lion energy. And I do, like, from the book directly, actually want to read lion to you because it's just so poignant and just pans out so well with the other energy that's been here. So with lion, the keywords are patient, regal, a complete master. The lion is the master of the fire element and the living mascot of self-transformation. So look at all that energy at the bottom here, right? So figuring out who we are, trying to like work through this energy, trying to come into our own, really knowing who we are, being self-reliant and independent, really completing this transformation energy, right? With butterfly, really completing the process we've been working through for a while, this whole year at least, right? If not beforehand in 2022. So continuing with the description here. So a lion personality dedicates their life to personal and spiritual growth. So that feels like this next calling here with the judgment card, right? So where is it at? I'll just keep reading the whole thing. This dedication inspires some and intimidates others. Therefore, the lion is respected by all, but known intimately by few. Some mistake the lion as hard to access or aloof, yet those with a keener eye know better. Lions are observant, stealth, and precise in their words and actions. They do not waste energy or resources. This card reminds us that self-mastery is available to all, no matter where our quest begins. So, that I think really... I had to just read the description there for you, Scorpio, because that lion description just really sums up this energy, right? Coming into the self-mastery we've been working on for at least through this year, if not beforehand, right? We've just been sustaining for so long through our life and trying to keep ourselves together and situated. And we really come through at the end here with new things in bloom, not lots of new opportunities for us because we've been planting those seeds for so long. We've been putting in so much time and effort for so long. And finally, all that's coming to fruition. All the hard work's paying off. We've come into a self-mastery here and even potentially the next calling here, the next thing, the next big piece to keep working on, to keep growing, to keep doing, because we have mastered a mastery over self now at this point, right? We know our resources, we know what's available to us, we know how to handle anything that life throws at us. We have this discerning energy, this calculated energy, this great perception of the world and who we are and what makes sense for us and the people that make sense for us, right? And all of our cups are full. And we can finally celebrate that. We can celebrate that energy, that joy, all these things coming to fruition, all these things coming into bloom, growing, and then eventually, like if I was to keep reading for this, I wouldn't be surprised to see like the summer full bloom energy, that harvest energy, really finally reaping what we've sown and put in the effort for and put in the work for so long, right? Sustaining ourselves, sustaining the grounds in which all these things are growing, putting in that energy for so long. And then we move out of that sustainer energy and finally into like that thriving, life-giving, blooming, I don't even know what's the word for it, like such a big energy. I want to see what the card is actually after this. Where's the book for that? So sustainer is XX. IV. So it's part of 3. So it would be, so it's the creator, the destroyer, and the sustainer, right? So the creator is obviously that beginning point. The sustainer is that middle. Then the destroyer is the end point. So I come back into that creation energy again. That's that spring energy here for you for sure. But it's really strong energy here for you, Scorpio. This is super strong energy. And really the sustainer, that sustainable energy does get us to the point where we're thriving, right? It's that in-between stage. So it's the creator, that is birth. The destroyer is the death part, right? And then we have life in between. We have life in all of it, and how life pans out for us depends on us and our situations and how we work through our situations here, right? So we can either be surviving, or we can be living, just living, or we can be thriving. And it feels like now for you, finally, Scorpio, as you progress through 2023 here, we really get into an energy. We have a little bit of like figuring out that like last little lesson here at the beginning of the year in that first quarter here, but then we really move into beautiful, positive, more thriving energy at the end of the year, through the rest of the year here. So I'm super excited for you, Scorpio. This is great energy. Great energy to see. Hopefully, I'm curious how it'll pan out for you in the day to day and the week to week, right? It's only once I've looked back over the past 3 months, like if I'm through a quarter, right, and I look back over and I can see how this like theme of the quarter panned out for me, and then look at the future quarter and see how that energy might progress. But it's only kind of once we look at things retroactively, get into this reflection mode here, right, with that last quarter, and that self-reflection, perceiving things in a new way, judging our situations and having that new perception on things, we can really see how we've progressed, how we've changed, how life has taught us lessons, how we've learned and grown from those lessons, and how the universe was there for us in ways we maybe didn't realize to start with. So beautiful, unique energy here, Scorpio. I'm curious. Please let me know down in the comments below how this energy works out for you through the year. I'm really, really happy to see it for sure. It feels really good, and I feel very positive just interacting with this energy myself. So I'm super happy and excited for you, Scorpio. But if this didn't resonate for you, you might have information or messages in your other signs. If this is like your sun sign, for example, maybe check your moon sign. Check if you have like a lot of major placements in one particular sign that's not Scorpio. If you have another one, whatever you feel called to do, whatever resonates and makes the most sense for you, that's going to be up to you and your intuition and what feels right. So pay attention to that. But hopefully this did resonate for those that got a lot of information out of it. I hope you have a wonderful 2023. It looks like you will, and hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, Scorpios, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.